I would honestly love to know how people see me. I had a peer interview and the hiring manager said she was very pleased with the interview. And I just want to know what the paperwork says. I'm just curious. Anyway, this is Leslie. Welcome to Geeky Girls Night In.
Hold on to your seat.
What are you doing?
Now you're talking.
And now,
you are now listening to the Geeky Girls Night In podcast.
You are now listening to the Geeky Girls Night In
Podcast.
All right, so we're back and we're here today with Shai August. She's a country girl with a big imagination, more than a touch of wanderlust, and a never-ending desire to live in both an RV and travel the world and a library. Her love language is words of affirmations, followed by books, bacon, and bourbon. Hey. She's a born and bred Louisiana native, but is currently doing an impression of a yellow rose of Texas. She's fluent in English, sarcasm, and memes, which we appreciate over here. Her goal is to write fast-paced, character-driven paranormal fiction for women of color. Thank you so much for being on today. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. This sounds like so much fun.
You sent me the book. You sent me the first Bachelor book, the Shifter Bachelor, about a year ago. And I kept apologizing because I didn't really have time to read it, but I did want to read it because I do love paranormal fiction. And when I finally, got a chance, it was on a cruise ship. I had time, and I basically devoured half of what you put out. It was absolutely ridiculous. These are amazing books that they had so many of the characteristics that I love in a book. First of all, the first book, The Shifter Bachelor, has a plus-size alpha, which made my entire day. Now, I'm plus size, you're plus size. I take it you took a lot of maybe parts of your life to create Imani.
Yes, I did, but her personality and mine are very similar, but it's not the same. So
Gotcha.
On the Myers-Briggs, I'm an INTJ, and she's like a very ENTJ.
And I think that probably comes with the fact that, she's going to be a leader of all these people. So
these people.
all of them. There's so many. Because she's got her elephants, and then she's got the rare and unknowns. So
yeah, but she doesn't know she's gonna be leading the rare and unknown until she meets Ansel. So
This is true, and we're getting a little too far ahead.
Okay.
So let's start from the beginning. Did you just did these characters just pop into your mind one day?
Technically, Ansel's sister Cheryl popped into my head first.
Okay.
And I was like, how can I introduce Cheryl and make her, because she's my favorite. She's the closest to me, if there's any.
She is hilarious. She's sick of everybody's shit. She don't want to be here. She don't want to deal with it. She's just tired. And I felt that so hard in my bones. So hard. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
It's the truth though. She was just like, why am I here? I'm not even an alpha. How did I get involved?
Well, technically she is an alpha, but she's not the alpha. Her brother, because he was born a couple minutes earlier, is the alpha, right. And she's the beta.
Right. And it's
so I was like, who can I, because she's my favorite. She came first. Then of course Ansel came first. And I was like, what kind of woman would turn this man's head.
Right.
And I was like, and it took me weeks to put Imani together before I even started writing her. And so after I started, then it just all came to me.
One of the things that I liked so much about Imani was the fact that she's this large, powerful woman, but she's also not 100% comfortable in her skin. And you didn't write like a completely perfect character. Like her wear animal is an elephant, and elephants are deeply familial. Is that the word I'm looking for?
Familial.
Thank you. Words, they mean things. And one of the things that you kind of see is that she's, and all of the elephants really, are deeply enmeshed in one another, which makes it difficult for them to like go out of their community to find, maybe a mate. So they bring all these people to her, and she's like, I can't, this is not what I want, and runs away. But she runs away and she's like, I miss everybody. And then like the best part of it all is that food comforts her, and like there's his aunt is feeding her like cakes and cookies and pies, and I'm like, this is me. This is me. Like, I want to eat everything when I'm upset, and I don't, and I'm confused and don't want to really 100% confront my feelings. Mm-hmm. So give me a cookie. That's amazing. That's another thing about this book. So there is the Little House on the Prairie books. There is one book called Farmer Boy, and it's about Almanzo. And I've talked about it on this show before. It's straight food porn. It is. The only reason I love this book so much is that it's straight food porn. Like
I remember reading those as a child. It is food porn.
Yeah, like straight making donuts all day. I'm like, who makes donuts? Why is this a thing? But she's making donuts. She's making eggnog. All these like huge feasts. And so like, I didn't get into the Little House on the Prairie series. As a matter of fact, it was either last year or the year before. That's the first time I read them. And it like the only reason I read them was because I read Farmer Boy first and thought, oh, we finna eat. But no. There's actually
the others are not like that.
Not even a little bit.
Part of the whole the thing, it was feast or famine for some families out there on the prairie. So, like Alonzo lived well and not everybody else did.
Right. But one of the things that I truly enjoyed about that first book, The Shifter Bachelor, was that was straight food porn too.
Okay, there's another author, Stella Williams. She writes under Stella Williams, and she has a YouTube channel called The Serpentine Creative. Every time she reviews my book, she's like, make sure you have your snacks before you.
Because it's the truth. Like, they went to the barbecue hut, and I'm like, Jeff, you want to go to Famous Dave's? Do you, and he's like, babe, we're on a boat. I'm like, do you think if we talk to the people, they will make me some ribs? I would really like some ribs right now. And he grabbed my Kindle. It was like, what are you reading now? And I'm like, never mind that. I want a sandwich with some hot sausage links and some ribs. He's like, that actually does sound good. I'm not even gonna lie. So, like, it was like that the entire, like, you know what sounds good? He's like, if you don't leave this cabin.
He's probably gonna come down and interrupt this interview and like, listen, don't run no more food.
Exactly. It was, I absolutely adored it. But so you wrote Cheryl first. Did you write her three-souled spirit initially as well?
Yes.
Okay. So how did you decide on the particular animals? Because I'll be honest, the bird that Cheryl is, I'd never heard of before.
I had to research really hard to find a shifter animal nobody was gonna be using. I already knew I was good with the elephant, but I was like, he can't be just no regular bird.
Right.
He and Cheryl just can't be regular birds. Okay. So you can't Google like African mythological animals and get a good Google search, right? Okay. So you have to go almost tribe by tribe, nation by nation to find the mythological animals. And a lot of them are orally told, so there's not going to be a lot of research on them. It's not like the Greeks or the Romans or, the other long-standing European societies where everything's written down for you. No, you got to go do some major research. So I tell everybody, if you want to buy me a present, buy me a book on mythology from Africa.
I think I actually may
make
have
my
something,
life easy.
I think I actually may have something down here like that. I have a ton of books. So let me flip through my books a little later this weekend, and I'll see what I can get you.
Okay.
So about how much research on like the mythological animals would you say that you do per book? Can you give like an estimate?
Well, not all of the animals are mythological.
Right.
But, I'm going to say a few hours each book.
Okay.
So, yeah, sometimes I get lost down the rabbit hole. In Bachelor in Trouble, I have 3 concurrent couples going at the same time.
Oh, wow.
So there's Samson and Finley, there's Zeba and Thomas, and then there's Alonzo and Persephone. And so Thomas is a Zarleg, which is this Polish rock demon that's powered.
Oh my gosh.
And you should have seen me trying to chase that down the rabbit hole. You know how Google's like translate, and you're like, just translate always. And these Polish sites would come up. It's just ridiculous. I'm probably on I'm on like a half a dozen watch lists from like just Google searches alone.
It's fine. It's fine. We'll explain. Like, she needed to write these because I needed to know. Oh my gosh. I love it. So you wrote, you relate to Cheryl the most. What do you think your shifter would be?
I have no idea. And I've been asked this question. I'm like, I'd probably be an elephant because I'm really family oriented. But then I'd be like, no, I'd probably be an imp and doula because I really like to be up in the air. But then I'm like, I don't know, because like every book I write gives me more perspective on what a shifter animal would be. And so like, even in the little offshoot series that I have, the Aftermarkets Volume 1 and 2 and Camp Pounce. So like I keep and even like Social Aid and Pleasure, when I write them, I keep putting new animals in, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with myself.
Right. And that's what would happen. Like, I would look at these books and I'm like, what would I be? Would I be an elephant like Imani? I'm not really family oriented unless it's like my immediate family, like the family I live with. So, and then like I said, I was on the trip and our first stop was Aruba, and I went to a donkey sanctuary, and there was this angry ass donkey. And you could feed the donkeys. Like, you could buy a bucket of feed for the donkeys. And I did that, and so did several other people. And if you fed if that angry ass donkey was there and you fed somebody else, some other donkey other than him, like, he would bully the other donkey. Like, he'd push him. And I'm like, sounds like me. So maybe I'm a donkey. That's a thought. So, like ever since then, like, any animal I see or I think about, I'm like, would I be that? But the only thing that I've come up, like, completely certain on is the damn donkey. Because I will fight if I don't get no food. So.
Are you stubborn?
I am, very much so.
And you're a bully?
I try not to bully. But, I can finish a fight if somebody starts it, that sort of thing. So there was that, but I
There's that. So you're tough.
Yeah.
Are you hardy? Can you?
I am such a princess. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't like pain. I've been like mustering up the nerve for the past 3 years to get my nose pierced. And
Sorry, did you say 3 years?
It takes me a lot of time to make decisions. Like I mentioned on Facebook yesterday that it's my 5-year. Friday was my 5-year lock anniversary. Like, I've had locks in my hair for about 5 years. Mm-hmm. Prior to that, like, I had been considering them for maybe 10.
Okay, I can understand that because I like to change my hair every 3 months because I'm a Black woman, right?
Right. Exactly.
So I everybody, two of my really good friends have locks, and they just wear them hanging down or they put them up in a ponytail. And I'm like, I like versatility. And I know hers are teal and purple, but like.
So here's what I need you to do. When you get a chance, go on Instagram and I want you to look up Fresh Locks. FRESHLOCS. That is my loctician, and he has 50 million designs in hair that he does.
Okay.
And so like, they're super versatile.
I've been them for 20 years.
Right.
But like, I don't have the patience.
Right.
For the lock.
Like, I'm gonna send you those pictures because like when I first got them, girl, it was rough. Like it looked like I did not have hair on my head. So I got them and I was heavily pregnant. And so I got them done and then I had to come back. I think it was like, no. So I got them done on the 20th. I went into the hospital like 6 weeks later. And so I got them done the first time. And then, yeah, I had to go back again and get them retightened. And so I hopped up out the chair and I'm like, okay, well, thank you. I'm headed to the hospital. And he was like, excuse me? Because he saw that I was pregnant. He's like, oh my God, are you in labor now? And I'm like, no, I'm gonna go get induced. And he's like, well, you did this at the perfect time. And I'm like, that's what I was thinking. And it took pregnancy to give me a push to be able to do it. So
gotcha.
Like forever. I wanted them forever. I looked at everybody's stuff forever and just and so that same thing with the nose piercing. I'm like, it's gonna hurt. Please keep in mind though, in my early 20s, I've had my eyebrow pierced. I've had my tongue pierced twice. Yeah, so I
mean, if you can get your tongue done, you can get anything done, I would think.
It doesn't hurt. It didn't hurt. They clamped it and was like, shoop, and done. The second time it did hurt because I had scar tissue from the first time. But it wasn't bad, and I'm weird. I'm just weird, and it takes me forever to make a decision on anything, which drives the husband crazy because he's like, what you want to eat? And I'm like, I don't know what you want. Or like I'll stick on the same thing for like 3 months. Seafood. I want some crab legs.
Ma'am.
So just
ma'am.
Yeah. That's just who I am. That's just who I am. We are way off track here. But
we still are, but it's okay.
It's fine. It's my show. I do what I want.
You do what you want, girl.
Exactly.
I'm just here. It's your world.
Exactly. So, you are the second paranormal, supernatural, like romance author that I've actually talked to. There's another series, and I can't think of her name right now, but it's the Santeria series. I don't know if you heard about it. Hold on, I'm gonna have to edit this out, but Santeria. So basically the shifters are quarantined in like a specific spot, and they're not given rights like humans are. And like the main protagonist had to fight to be able to go to school, but she's also hood as hell. So like even if she does have money, she's stealing shit. It's really good. It's so good. Santeria Habitat.
Okay.
King, you're right. You're right.
All right. I'm gonna have to put this on my TBR.
Yeah.
Now, of course, my TBR is like as long as I am. So
now I'm gonna tell you right now though, with the TBR, like she stopped. Like she writes other things, but she stopped the Santeria series like right before it completes. Like there's a book missing. So occasionally on Twitter, like I bug the hell out of her. And I'm like, so notice she wrote another book. It's not the Santeria series. So what's going on with that? And so finally she sent me an email. She's like, look, ma'am. And she explained the whole story. She's like, when she first wrote it, it wasn't super popular. So she went on to write other things. And now people are discovering her from the Santeria series, just out the clear blue sky. And so she says she's thinking about coming back to that, but she hasn't given me like, I am coming back to that. So my feelings are hurt. So I still bug her. So she just did nothing but made me antagonize her more. Sorry, Kenya.
That is so funny. See, I have a private reader group on Facebook, and let me tell you, every time I put a book out, they come in and they make comments. So like if I stopped in the middle of the series and wrote something completely different that was not related to what I'm doing, it would be anarchy in the group. So
right. And I noticed with your most recent one, is it Bachelor in Paradise?
Yes.
there are some angry people in your group. Now, caveat, I have not read that one yet. I'm a little behind. I've got 3 books before I finish up what you have written at this point. And so, like, people are wanting to fight, and I'm terrified now to even continue on. Oh, no.
I'm gonna stop saying I'm a paranormal romance writer, because I completely write epic fantasy. It's got like 27 storylines going.
Right. And it's so great though.
But they're all wrapped up in like a paranormal romance package. So that's what I do. But so I have stopped doing happily ever afters because they're all happily for now until I hit book 15. And everybody's mad at me. And then I have a hard major cliffhanger at the end of Bachelor in Paradise. So, oops.
I mean, it happens, and as long as you don't, stop writing. Like, I think Kingus didn't end on a cliffy, but it sort of did. And I need to know what happened. And in her book, the protagonist's dad is a demon, and he's hilarious. Like, he's a pretty bad guy, but he's also like drugged out of his mind. Ooh. Like, he does a lot of drugs, and so he's spacey headed and has moments of lucidity. And when he has moments of lucidity, he's talking about skin.
Because the more you talk, the higher this rolls up on my
because he's a demon. And I guess this with demons, like, the skin is important because that's what you dress in. Like, yeah. And so he's very
soft and supple, and
right. And he's very protective of his skins. He
doesn't want anybody who's tattooed because that might have
exactly. And he has one major skin he uses all the time, and it's from the person that summoned him initially.
Oh,
right.
Virgin skin.
Right. And so, but he also has a pile of skins that he keeps buried, and he had to loan somebody a skin as a favor, and he's like, "You take care of my skin," and like he put it on the person, and he's just sitting there staring mad because they got his skin on. You better return that skin unmarked to me.
That's how I lend out my book, so I don't even.
Right? My friend Kim, she's a friend of the podcast. She does the same thing, and she's smart with it though. So like, if she loans you a book with the flyleaf cover on it,
I take that off. You can't have it.
Yeah, she takes it off and puts it off to the side. I have one of her books. Like, she moved to Vegas like 10 years ago, and I still have one of her books here. I'm like, I have one of your books. And she's like, I have the flyleaf cover. It's fine. Just hold on to it. I'll see you eventually. So, same way. But like, that tickles me. There's just like little bits of it. You will like the series, and you'll like Kenya as an author. So
I will work on Kenya.
So, what is your favorite couple in the Bachelor series?
Oh God. It's not even a couple. It's the quad. It's Davita, Jersey, Stanley, and Itchy in Bachelorette and Heat.
I love that so much. Like, she needed the love, She hit it. Like, I don't even know the full extent of her life, but she is such a true blue friend to Imani, and she like, just the stories of the childhood, like her going to the birthday party with the broken toy, but she wasn't coming empty-handed, damn it.
That's right.
And like them swapping it out, and I'm like over here crying buckets of tears. I'm like, this is the greatest thing, and the family accepts her, and the fact that they fought for her, like the fact that they they know that they can't provide 100% what a lion pride could provide for her, but they do the best they damn can, and they give her the love that she wasn't getting from the redneck Donald Trump lion pride. So I was so mad at them. I'm like, somebody has a MAGA hat on in this family. So, but yeah, I absolutely love her relationship with the elephants. I love her relationship with her new pride. And who is it? Was it was it Jersey? Yeah, it was Jersey, because Jersey has all the siblings with state names.
Yes.
Yeah, so like the mom that comes in with her pride, and they're all like a consortium. Shame on you. You leave that girl alone. Why would you do that? Like, they're punishing her, and I'm just like, this is so great. You guys really need to read these books to fully understand what I'm talking about. It's amazing. Like, the conversations that they have just tickle me pink. There's pretty much been food porn in every single one, which, like I said before, I dig. But the barbecue one was the one that hit me hard. And I'm 150% curious about the family. I don't remember their names, but they come to work for the barbecue guy.
Okay, the McNairs.
Talk to the tree. Yes, the McNairs. And he's like, I just want to make sure you're not gonna put yourself in a tree. And he's like, not right now. He's like, you can do that? He's like, I mean, yeah, but why wouldn't I do that? I'm alone. I'm not meant to be alone, so I'm gonna go in the tree.
So the number one thing that readers slide in my DMs about are Trouble McNamara and the McBaird family.
the McBaird family
right here, neck and neck.
Trouble cracks me up because she's good. She I felt like she didn't really have feelings for the dude for like a full minute. The story is about them, so obviously something's going to happen. But she just played it so cool. I'd be over there like, you're pretty. Okay.
He is pretty. He's so pretty. Right. In my head, he's super pretty.
Right? And she's just like, I don't care about you. We're here to solve a problem and this, that, and the other. And then some stuff happens and she's like, oh, I'm like, yes! I'm like, you play it so cool, and you're not really cool, lady. You're not.
No, she's a bundle of contradictions inside.
I love it. I love it so much. But the McNairs, they're just such a weird ass family, and I love that. And they're okay with their weirdness. Like, I think it's the littlest girl. That's like the weirdest of them all. Like, it's the daddy and then like the littlest girl, and they're just bizarre.
Colleen.
Yes.
Who is named after my friend Colleen, and that Colleen is based on the actual Colleen.
Colleen, you are weird as hell, girl. I'm not even mad at it.
Like, she sent me a card. It was like, we're friends. And on the inside it said, ride or die, or whichever comes first.
Right, and you're just like, what? Okay, girl. And then she like comes up to the family and she says something completely bizarre. She's like, okay, I'm gonna go play now. Like, what just happened? So yeah, I absolutely adore them. Is the father going to have his own little, because he's got to find love. He can't be buried up in a tree, girl. I can't.
Like I said, number one question is, when is Murphy McBaird getting the girl?
Y'all can't leave him up. He got too many kids to be left in a tree like that.
Number one question, when is Murphy getting the girl? When are Romeo and Trouble getting together and getting married and having babies? And like,
witchy wizard powerful babies. Oh my gosh.
And I just dropped some new stuff in Bachelor in Paradise about Romeo and Trouble.
Okay.
And in Bachelor in the North, which comes out in August, there's going to be some more McBaird stuff.
Good. I just absolutely love him.
The only way I'd be able to satisfy everyone is to actually write a whole series featuring the McBairds.
There's so many of them. You could do it. There's like 500
So like when I first said, I'm going to be a writer, I'm going to write these books, sure. I was like, well, okay, first I want to do, because pop culture is my second love. Mm-hmm. Food is my first, of course.
Yes.
I'm going to do, like, this series is based on the show The Bachelor. And my other great shows are food porn shows. So I watch Top Chef, I watch all the cooking shows.
I'm the same way, y'all.
Master Chef, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, well, I guess my next one would be The Great Shifter Bake Off.
Oh my god. Yes.
Your face right now is just giving me life.
Like, cause like not Imani, but Ansel's auntie.
No, Imani's aunt.
Or is it? Well, it's Imani and Ansel, isn't it? Doesn't Ansel have an auntie that bakes?
No, that's Henry's sister, Henrietta.
Okay. Yes.
From the other elephant herd, from the Marshall herd.
I need that so much. But yeah, you talked about food shows. Like, if you look on my personal Twitter profile, it says I'm an icon of flavor. So I understand completely. So, and
I did not even want him to win the first season. I was like, why are you passing over the black guy for this guy?
Right. And then, but like. And like we talked, like over the years, we've talked so much trash about Guy Fieri. Like all of us. Like even I've talked trash. But it turns out the dude's actually a super nice guy.
I've heard. Like, and I'm like, whatever.
Right. Like he conducted like a mass LGBTQIA ceremony for like like he got ordained for this. Married off a ton of people. He donates like, because his first thing he did was pretzels. He made pretzels, like soft pretzels. So he donates pretzel wagons to kids, like schools and stuff, to do fundraisers. Yeah, he's just a genuinely nice guy. He's just corny as shit. So,
I mean, it's the glasses on the back of the neck. It's the Flavor Town. It's the shit. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I can't.
Yeah, and then like I found out and like this is back when I made a lot of fun of him. He changed his name. Like his name was actually Guy Fieri, Ferry. He changed it so it sounded more authentic. Guy Fieri. Yeah.
I do not approve.
I'm mad at it. I know. It's just like there's so much you can make fun of him for, but he's also a really good guy. So
damn it. Yeah. So my husband loved him, right?
Right.
So like we had the Guy Fieri cookbooks, we had sorry.
You're fine.
We had all the Guy cookbooks, we went to see Guy, we did all the Guy stuff. Because at the time I was living in DC and they have the Metropolitan Cooking Show and he did a cooking demonstration there. Okay. So of course,
we gotta go.
The husband, I gotta go take him to see Guy Fieri. But I got to meet Carla Hall, so I wasn't even mad.
Oh, that's awesome. She probably smells wonderful.
She smells like biscuits in heaven.
Oh my god.
like with raspberry jam or something. She smells amazing.
Oh my god. I can imagine it. So great. See, this happens. I love food so much. I should be embarrassed, but I'm not.
What?
Right? Like
I mean, come on. I don't do drugs.
Right.
I can't smoke cigars anymore because of the bronchitis. Exercise has never been my friend.
No.
So what other vice? I mean, besides drinking and sex, what other vices can I have?
Right.
That are legal.
And then I was talking to my husband this morning. I was like, yeah, I spent 30 minutes reading this guy's Twitter thread. He captured wild yeast from the English countryside to create a reasonable facsimile of the bread that Egyptian slaves ate while they built the pyramids. He just looked at me like, what? I'm like, man, I don't know. It was a fascinating read, though. Like, he collects wild yeast from all over the place and just bakes bread with it. I'm like, apparently he's also...
As somebody who has made bread by hand before, I appreciate this, but as a person who has a limited amount of time, because I'm always trying to push out a book every 3 to 4 months, I'm like, that takes too much time.
Girl, he is the father of the Xbox. He's the father of the Xbox. He don't have to work another day in his life.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah, that's not us.
That's not me.
I ain't got time like that. But yeah, I'm like, you just taking trips to the English countryside to harvest wild yeast in the air?
Who does Yeah.
Right. You got an autoclave in your kitchen? He's like, it's the kitchen autoclave. That indicates that you have another autoclave somewhere in your house that's the X autoclave, like the bathroom autoclave or the living room autoclave. Like,
yeah, he's probably got them, strategically placed around the house, and they just automatically come on at a certain time.
Yeah, when he needs to sterilize something. You need to sterilize your remote and throw it in the autoclave. Throw it in the living room autoclave. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's so weird. But yeah, like, I sat there for like 30 minutes and read this entire thing. He's currently doing a quarantine bake-off where people are like making bread and taking pictures on his timeline. He's like trying to see where you're at right now. Gorgeous loaves of bread.
Oh my God, let me go get some yeast and go do my cheese crusted bread.
You should do it.
Where's my cast iron pie?
See? I'm gonna send you the link to his Twitter so you can check it out. Because
I don't need to be doing that, ma'am. I have I have books to write.
All right, you do, because you have some angry people at you that they need to find out the truth.
No, I know, and see, they think in the next book I'm gonna clear things up. No, it's gonna get even more muddled.
Oh my God, it's just gonna be a bunch of people like with like pictures of torches on your page.
And just disappointing auntie faces
all
over the place.
I love it. If you were to come across a kid that, wants to write, but they're kind of discouraged, they don't know how they're ever going to get published. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to begin. What would you say?
Okay, first I would say learn the craft, because there are a lot of people who are writing now who don't understand the craft, and they make all of us look bad, right? Then I would say don't worry about other people's feelings, because you love my books, but like when I went out to query them, like I got completely rejected. And what is the adage? Genius is hitting a target nobody else can see. That's how I felt. I was like, I'm out here, querying a whole paranormal romance series with Black women as the heroines, and like everybody was looking at me like, can you change them into white? I was like, no, I'm doing African animals. Why would I want to go and do white women as African animals? That's not what I'm doing. I'm writing for me the books that I would want to read. Just like Octavia Butler wrote for me, just like the late great L.A. Banks wrote for me.
I love it.
And even though she's not Black, Ursula K. Le Guin, she wrote, and Margaret Atwood, they wrote these books that I resonated with. And so I want to write books that someday will resonate with other people. And so, yeah, I would say learn your craft, because that's going to be the most important thing that's going to set your books apart.
Okay.
I can't even tell you how many paranormal romance books I devoured before I started writing. I went on a spree. I read I want to say at least 50, because I wanted to be able to recognize the rhythms and the tropes of not just romance, but in shifter romances, to be specific. So I learned my craft. I studied. I'm an autodidact, so I prefer to learn on my own, but I have no problem sitting in a classroom. So I went and I took I went to writers conferences. I took the classes, and then I learned about the business of self-publishing, because after you send out that first query and they're like, well, if you change these things, but those are central to my story, that's what makes me unique. That's what's going to make my books unique. I was like, I can't do this. So, I'm trying to hit a target you can't see, because you are stuck in this little mindset that you have, that the predominant race, white race, is the best race to go out and represent my work.
I like that.
So, learn your craft, study your craft, study the business, and then go out and do it. And your people will come to you. I sent you the book and it took you a year to read it, but now you're all in. You're like
100%. Like, what's that next one?
I'm gonna read you until I die, basically.
Exactly. It's
And I could probably kill off your favorite character. You know, I'm pulling Donald Trump. I could probably kill off your favorite character and you'd still come back and read my shit.
Probably, because there's the teeny tiny hope that they might come back.
I mean, it's fiction. I can do that.
Exactly. I love it. I don't know. As much as I would love to be a writer, and like I write blog posts all the time, and things like that for the blog and stuff. But as a fiction writer, I don't know if I have it in me. I get mired down in the details too early on. Like I tried to write a story about a mermaid, and like I got 3 chapters in and like I got 15 books open. I'm like, can this really happen? Can I do this? Is this okay? And I'm like, you know what? I got a full-time job. I need to go sit down somewhere.
Okay, so the thing is, you can't read what you're writing. So if you're trying to read mermaid romances, you can't be writing a mermaid romance. You can't read it. It's gonna all filter in your head and you're gonna have conflicting views on everything. So, you know, one person's gonna treat their mermaids different, another one's gonna not. And so you can't do that. Right. And then, you know, sometimes you just have to put it down and walk away and come back to it. Sometimes you have to hire a coach. You know, I do developmental editing for people, so I help them flesh out their book so that it becomes, you know, a greater piece than what it would have been. So like if you're getting mired down in the details, maybe you need to send it to somebody so you can get some feedback.
Yeah, that's it. If you weren't writing books and if you weren't traveling the world, what would you be doing?
Girl, I don't know. Don't know. My goal is to eventually get to LA and maybe try and be a screenwriter. So I'm putting that out in the universe. But I don't know, because like I grew up on a farm and every day I'm in the city. I'm like, I could go home. There are
a lot of people in the city.
And there's a lot of people. My hometown has less than 500 people in it.
Oh! That's even smaller than my hometown. And it tickles my husband to no end. It doesn't happen too much anymore because I graduated high school 20 years ago. But like when we first got together 11 years ago, we'd stop in. I'd be like, yeah, I went to high school with them. Yeah, they were the year before me. They got pregnant their junior year. This, that, and the other. And
exact same. My high school was made up of 6 towns, and we graduated 90 people in my high school graduating class in the early 90s. So,
oh my God.
Yeah, I could walk into my hometown and well, first, you know, mine's not even big enough. We got flashing light. We don't have like actual red light.
And we're known as Stoplight City, so.
Yeah, so I understand, you know, I'd be like, oh, that one got pregnant, that one used to date that one used to do this, blah, 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 blah. You know, that would be me.
Oh my gosh. So you mentioned in your bio that you want to be the owner of an RV. Have you been like RV camping or, you know, driven around in an RV? And if so, do you have any specific places that you would want to camp at?
Okay, so I've been in RVs before, but they weren't being used. I've been in RVs that have been converted to command vehicles because I used to work in emergency management, so it'd be like an emergency operations center. Sure. So I've been in them. But you know, they weren't kitted out for actual living. They were just kitted out for work. But if I could, I mean, I've been to 42 states now. Whoa, yeah. And so I'm only missing Alaska, Hawaii. It's like me longer to remember the ones I haven't been to than it would take me to remember the ones I have. But like, yeah, so I would love to tour the US again, but I know I definitely want to go through all of Canada because everything I look up there is beautiful. It's pristine. It's you know, and I'm like, yeah, I could do that. Well, I'm not there during the wintertime. I'm good.
I I have family in upstate New York, and typically when we go visit them, instead of flying, we just drive. It's easier. And we typically drive through there's two ways. I'm in Indiana, so there's two ways you can go. You can go through Canada or you can go a different way. And we always go through Canada, and it's always beautiful. And we always stumble across something. The time before last, we stumbled across a cheese company in the middle of nowhere. Best cheese I've ever had in my life. And I also I love mushrooms. And they had like a mushroom tapenade that I ate on for like days. I wouldn't eat anything else.
Sorry, did you say mushroom tapenade?
I did.
I'm sorry, I have the droolies. Hold on.
The last time we went, and it's always food we find. My kid, Geeky Baby, is kind of unique looking. She's biracial and she's got blonde hair, but she doesn't like people. So like people comment on her hair and she's like, thank you, and she walks off because she doesn't want to deal with it. But if you bribe her, she cool. Mm-hmm. And we stopped at a pizza place.
Wait, do you bribe her with food?
Yes. Oh yes.
Oh, that's the same as my kids, and they're 23 and 18. So
yeah, she's super food oriented. Oh my god, yeah. So we found this pizza place, and the pizza was amazing, and the restaurateur kept staring at her, and I'm like, am I gonna have to fight this fool? And he was like, she is so beautiful. I would like to give her this ginormous Rice Krispie treat with peanut butter fudge, studded in marshmallows. And he just like slowly handed it to her. And she was like, thank you. And like we all got out to the car. Like, I'm finicky about peanut butter treats. There's like, that was too sweet for me. My husband and Geeky Baby, they were like, we need to go back. We need to go back and truly thank this man because he knows not what he gave us. Like, they still, like, that was last year.
I am a diehard peanut butter fan. I will break off a block of Hershey chocolate and just swipe it into the peanut butter jar and eat it.
I will do that. But like I'm super fit. Like I like Reese cups, but I don't like Reese Pieces.
Right.
Like just like little things like that. Like I can't eat artificial peanut butter flavor.
I only want Reese's Pieces in the movie theater, and that's only if they don't have Boston baked beans.
Oh my god, I love Boston baked beans. When's the last time you had a Boston baked bean candy?
The last time we went to the movies, because we go to Dollar Tree before then.
Smart. Yes. I should order some of those. They're necessary for quarantine. Like, how am I supposed to do anything?
But I do know that Dollar Tree allows you to order a box of movie theater candy. It's 50 pieces. I think it's 48 or 50 items in the box. You can order it and then you just pick it up from the store. They'll ship it to you. So you can have a stash of candy for your house.
I think we need that. And I think if we have 50, there's less of a chance of somebody other than me gobbling them down.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And they make great gifts for when you have to do last minute favors and stuff.
Oh, that is smart. I like that. Mm-hmm. Good thinking.
Yeah.
So
I am the queen of practical gifts. So if you need a practical gift to give someone, I'm here for it.
Like my most practical like gift giving is socks. Like who doesn't need socks?
Who doesn't need socks? You're right.
And especially if it's around like a holiday season, I'm gonna get you some holiday socks.
You have a fandom, I'm getting you socks in that fandom.
There you go. Exactly. Love it. And as a matter of fact, I think I saw, like, I opened up Instagram yesterday and it was one of those things where it was like hurrying up to go to the next round of pictures or whatever. And like I saw briefly NSYNC socks. So I might be purchasing those for myself. So we'll see. It will match my NSYNC shirt and my NSYNC tapestry that, you know, my old ass has. So
That's cool.
Right.
My most practical gift is always a planner. So I always go and ask them what kind of planner they use, or if they don't use a planner, I try and introduce them to my favorite, which is the bullet journal. So I'm always like, oh, you need a Scribbles That Matter, girl. And then I show them my planner, and I'm like, you need washi. And I pull out I have old hotel keys, the plastic cards. Yeah. And I get strips of washi on them. I'm like, here. And I have an extra one in my planner, and I'll give them strips of washi.
That is amazing. That is perfect. And see, I'm kind of like you in the fact that I always have a spare notebook around to, you never know. You never know what you need. Like, I usually use a happy planner, and
I can't do the rings. Oh, if I could do rings, I would be in a happy planner. Or I would do, because my friend, she uses the Toll ARC system.
So let's talk about that for a minute. Math is not my subject. And when I say math is not my subject, I mean that, like, you could tell me some measurements and I'm going to be like, oh. Okay. And so, like, this year I was looking for something in between, like, not a classic happy, just a regular medium-sized happy planner, and then happy planner mini, because the mini was too small for me to write on, but the standard size was just a wee bit too big. And so I ordered the Toll ARC system in Millennium Pink because I love pink, and it was almost rose goldish. And I'm like, I don't understand these lengths. I should probably get a ruler. Nah, that's for chumps. Measuring's for chumps. Let me just go ahead and order this. Why is it, like, bigger than my happy? Like, it's huge. Like, if it's in my work backpack that I keep my laptop in, it adds significant weight. And, like, I'm kind of hunched over. And I'm like, you know what? I didn't ask for all this.
And that's the one my friend has with the 2-inch rings on it.
Yes, that's what I got, because otherwise, like, the stuff that I needed wasn't going to fit in there with those tiny little rings that they gave me. So I'm like, you know what? I'm committed. I'm committed to this for an entire year. But afterwards, we need to figure something out, because this ain't it.
Well, I got my best friend. We've been friends for 25 years now. And we both bought, we got the Commit 30 about 5 years ago. And she, I gave her washi because, we get planners, so I gave her washi. Right. But I started in a homemade traveler's notebook that I saw somebody do on a tutorial on YouTube and from a placemat from Dollar Tree. So I was all in, because I was like, oh, I can try this expensive planning system for like $5 of top Dollar Tree stuff. Yeah, I'm down. And
right.
Cheap is my other middle name.
Yes. Frugal. It's frugal, girl. It's
no, ma'am. It's cheap. It's cheap.
Oh, no.
And so, I tried it. I loved it. I was bullet journaling in there. I was regular journaling in there. I was list making, because that is my thing. It gives me purpose. A list gives me, like, a follow through. It gives me a step-by-step guide to my life. And so, like, I have lists for everything.
Sure. Oh my gosh. Oh man. And we both belong to the same planner group, which I didn't even realize. I'm like, what the hell are you doing in here?
Girl, I've been in there since the beginning. I don't know when you got in there, but I've been in there a long time.
It's like, I think it's been maybe 2 years, maybe.
I've been in there longer than that, I think.
Yeah. I'm like, wait a minute. I know you, sort of. Wait. Like, people just pop up, and I'm like, I'm waiting for the day that my mother shows up in there, and then I'm gonna have to have a conversation with an admin.
I would have to leave if people I knew were actually in. Well, I know people in the group,
right?
But yeah, I don't.
Right. I don't know if you know Mecca. She's in the group. I met her through my friend Kim. She used to be my friend Kim's boss out in Vegas. And they were the second people I called after I had my baby.
Wow.
So like I had her, and I was like, Mecca was like, don't call Kim. call me because I'm her boss. And I'm like,
oh my God. Okay, so it's almost 25,000 people in the group. I have 19 friends in it.
Yeah.
And that is too many.
Yeah, it's just like, and I love the planner group. I do, but I also love the dish group. The dish group is absolutely hilarious.
Oh, dish is my jam. I will mute the planner group and just have dish rolling through.
And it's so funny because a lot of people have, and like somebody in the actual planner group was like, "Hey y'all, remember us? Reason why we started this whole thing, planning."
And you're like,
But I'm like, the hot gossip is over there though. I like planning and hot gossip, but I like hot gossip more.
I mean, I am there just for the memes some days. It's just just for the memes.
It's just a bright light on the blight that is Facebook. That's just it. Like,
I get all my good gossip out of there. I get all my good memes out of there. I'm like, y'all give me life.
Right. And then like they're also there to help. Like there was a woman that was just diagnosed diabetic. And I'm like, okay, so here's what we're going to do today. Because I'm type 2. And
I'm pre-diabetic.
Right. So
I'm always reading the advice like, oh, that is really good advice. And like, it's the only group that I would take advice from. Because, there are some groups you're like, oh, I'm not going over there for nothing. Like, is it the red table red talk?
Oh my God, not the red table talk.
I've seen screenshots. I'm like, no, those are not my people.
There's two of them. There's red table talk, and then there's asking for a friend.
Oh. Red
table talk had tears running down my face because, like crying, laughing because he cheated on me in my bed, and I walked in on it.
And you still there and there's no bloodshed?
Oh no, there's more. And do you think I should fight his mama? Cause this has to be his mama's fault. I'm like,
was he having sex with his mama?
He wasn't.
Why are you fighting her?
Like, they want to fight everybody but the person they should be fighting, basically, in that group. And then there's the I had a threesome, and then I'm pregnant by one of them, but then I went to go meet his daddy, and it turns out I slept with his daddy 6 months ago. Just stuff like that. And I'm like, I didn't even need to know about the threesome, to be honest with you.
That sounds like a Steve Harvey letter right there. That sounds like one of them strawberry letters, and I am not down for it.
Yep.
Because I like my drama on the television and not in real life.
Exactly.
And so,
exactly.
I can't do, and I'm one of those Black people who doesn't like Tyler Perry, and
I like to make fun of the wigs. The wigs. Okay, I'm good.
I leave the aesthetics of it alone and just focus on the writing and the way that Black women are portrayed. So that's enough for me. Yes. But every time I see a picture of somebody with a terrible wig on, I'm like, oh, good God.
I didn't watch this last disaster, but the memes from the wigs gave me so much life that I don't need to watch it.
And I saw somebody post a video of one of the extras, and he was eating air, and I was like, they couldn't even give him food on the plate to pretend to eat. And I literally had to die. I was like, I just had a little heart attack right here and died.
Y'all don't have craft services? Y'all could have grabbed a scoop of macaroni.
A scoop of macaroni. You could have had him cut up a donut and eat it or something, so it looks like there were at least pancakes or a facsimile of pancakes or waffles or something. They're in a diner. It wouldn't matter. It's just food going in the mouth. But this dude is on air, and I'm like, bruh. That's what's wrong with your scripts. Everybody's eating air.
Yes.
And so
yes. And apparently he doesn't have time for everybody to get their hair done. He's like, we gotta make this quick. Like,
because you're doing it in 5 days. 5 days? That's a student film project who only got a $7,000 budget.
Like, and you own the film studio. Like, why does it have to be 5 days? You have multiple buildings. Y'all could have bounced from building to building if somebody rented another one. But I don't know nothing. I'm not the millionaire.
I mean, that would be too much like right to actually, take your time and do it well. And have somebody read over the crap before you start, sending it out.
But you have to keep your ego in check to be able to have somebody to listen or, read it and be like, okay, look, bruh. So he's got that ego.
His ego is big as the state of Georgia. It really is. He's not going to fit in Georgia much longer. He's going to start branching over into South Carolina and Alabama after a while. It's just going to be that whole quadrant of the country is just going to be Tyler Perry land. It's just
Exactly. And like, I get where he's coming from. Like, he came from nothing and he came into something. But the fact of the matter is, dude, your shit's kind of trash. And
you're putting out consistently bad stuff.
Yeah.
And you're in a financial position to put out better stuff. It's like somebody who does their braids themselves because they can't afford to go to the shop. And then they're 70 years later, they're still doing their braids themselves, even though they own 3 shops. You know what I mean? Like, you have employees, just get one of them to do it.
Maybe it's that thing like, when the Great Depression hit and you had all those like recipes that were like, smear some lard on these sunflower seeds and then bake it and you have a tasty treat. And like 20, 30, 40 years after the Depression, they're still making those meals because that's what they know. Maybe it's like that.
Maybe that sounds feasible. And you remember Oprah famously said she kept $1 million in cash in her house, because she was afraid to lose all her money. He's probably at that point where, he's got to hit the tipping point at some point. He's got to be like, I don't have to work this hard. I don't have to write all of these myself.
Right.
Let me bring somebody in. It's not saying that he has to give up all editorial control. He has to give up all creative control. It's just saying it would be so much better if you let other people do it. And the last Tyler Perry movie I saw was, I think, Diary of a Mad Black Woman.
Yes.
Or something with girls in it. And I only watched them because I lost a bet.
It happens. Oh.
Like, you can't think all Tyler Perry movies are trash. And this is before I was writing. I would still be able to sit there and pick it apart because I've digested good entertainment before. So if you've seen good stuff, you want to continue to see good stuff. Right. You don't want to keep regressing back and forth to trash TV to good TV. No, you stick on your path where it's like, oh, this is really good. Yeah.
Right. Do you listen to The Read?
Oh yeah.
So because of that, like we talked about not watching stuff, but I really need to see Acrimony.
Oh no, I can't. I mean,
there's so much.
I take it back. The last Tyler Perry movie I saw was the marriage counselor and the therapist. I lost another bet on that because my friend always bets me to watch Tyler Perry movies because she knows I hate them.
Right. Oh my God. I'd have to stop gambling and be like, look, man.
But so I'm right 9 times out of 10. It's that one time, she's got me to watch 3 Tyler Perry movies in the last 10 years. So that tells you how many times I've been right and she's been wrong.
Oh my gosh. But they talked about that and the boat and without me actually seeing it, I don't understand. They're like, how did she get back on the boat?
I've seen a clip of it and I think I was forced to watch that because it came up on another talk show, and it's they're out, he's driving the boat out in the water and she was one place and then all of a sudden she just popped up on the boat that's out in the middle of the water with no explanation of how she got there. Was she driving a boat alongside? Did she do a Tom Cruise Mission Impossible move and jump out of her little boat onto the big boat? Did she
She's just like, it was a rowboat.
She's on the boat before because it didn't show any of that. All of a sudden, it's just like, surprise, motherfucker. You know, like notes from Dexter, right? It's just.
Oh my god. Yeah. Oh my god. So maybe I don't need to watch it. I don't need that in my life. And I think if I subject the husband to that, he's gonna melt. Because we were watching TV one day and Tyler Perry's The Passion of the Christ came on.
Sorry, what?
Yeah.
That's a thing?
That's a thing. It was
I thought that was an urban myth. Wait.
Nope. Like he was flipping through and he's like, wait, what is this? Who is this? And I'm like, oh, it's the Passion play. Tyler Perry redid it. He's like, did it have? I'm like, you're broken. Go ahead and change channel, bro. You ain't never gonna understand it. He lost it. Like he was like, I'm gonna go sit down and think about my life. He didn't even watch it that long, 2 minutes, and he was done. Tyler Perry out here breaking white people down.
I'm sorry, this says Dick Clark Productions, and my brain has already.
Dick Clark was dead when, because he's been dead for years.
Yeah,
so,
but
I don't.
Original network Fox, producing Alan Shapiro, Adam Andrews. Oh my God, this is real.
Yep,
it's real.
You better not let your friend hear this episode, because that's gonna be your next bet.
I hate her. I will never lose a bet again. I don't care if I have to fake it. I don't care if there will actually have to be a murder. I am never watching this. I will commit suicide first.
Oh my god. So
it was a live musical?
Yeah. That's what threw him.
I'm sorry, Trisha Yearwood?
You remember when they started doing all those live musicals? Like there was Rent, I think last year.
Chris Daughtry?
Oh, I didn't know about all that. So it was a country and western passion play. I wish you guys could see her face right now. Like, I think she might have had a stroke. I don't know.
See?
Yep.
Yolanda Adams? Why you gotta drag Yolanda's pure ass into this business? Oh my god.
I told you, it broke him. He watched it for 2 minutes and was done.
I feel like my brain is completely melting underneath the weight of this. I just cannot.
And I had completely forgot about it, but like I think I got a Facebook memory a few days ago. It was like just saw part of the Passion play by Tyler Perry, and I don't think he's ever going to be right again. And he hasn't been quite right ever since. So
I am not right, and I missed it. Thank God.
Right?
I can only imagine the amount of Twitter ranting that I would have done
for the Tyler Perry Passion play.
For the Tyler Perry Passion play, I'm like, this is sacrilegious. I mean, I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
In the ever-loving fuck are you doing?
I
don't. Stop it.
Oh my god. Okay, let's move on real quick.
Please, take me away.
We're gonna wrap it up.
Take me away.
So tell me what's up next for Shai August as far as books go.
Okay. For me, I just released Bachelor in Paradise on the Ides of March, which is a tie-in for the cliffhanger at the end of the book.
Oh no! Oh god, I'm a freak out.
You're gonna go upstairs and be like, oh my god, you're gonna blaze through all the books now, aren't you? I can just see it.
And we start working from home on Monday?
Girl. Yeah, I am a huge advocate for working from home. I've been doing it on and off for the last 6 years now.
My poor friend is having such a time with it.
I love it.
I don't like leaving my house, so it's top notch to me.
All the introverts are like, I don't have to get dressed.
Right,
but
exactly.
My undergraduate degree is in political science, so I've always been like, there is no need for you to show up to a job to stare at a monitor for 8 hours when there are remote access systems available where I could sit at home. They are forcing you to commute They are forcing you to get dressed. They are forcing you to spend precious hours of your day to show up somewhere because they rented this big ass building and put their name on the side, and they want to see you because they can't trust you to do the amount of work that they've assigned to you without looking at you.
Have you seen it's a rant. It's from a person that has disabilities, and they're talking about how, you know, they're pissed off as hell about this work from home situation because they've needed this for years. And like they will explain it in interviews, and people will be like, well, no, we need you here. And like they'll try to interview via like video like we're doing, and they'd be like, no, you need to come up here. So then they got to figure out a way, be it they're on crutches, in a wheelchair, figure out how to get into the building. And then the coronavirus happens, and no, we can make this work. Everybody can work from home. Yeah, like I didn't think about it. It's not an issue that I have. Like I'm capable of walking into the building and stuff. It's not something that I really ever truly thought of. A friend of mine, Hillary, she's brought it to the forefront for me, and I'm like, oh my God. And so yeah, I just want to make everybody aware that, you know, this needs to be kind of a permanent thing. We need a change.
It does. I've been saying this for years, just like I've been advocating, why do kids get off for 3 months in the middle of this year? Because for school, they need year-round schooling. Yeah, you can have breaks here of 2 weeks, a week there, whatever. But why do they need 3 months off? It's not an agrarian system anymore. There are not massive farms populating the country. So why are these kids out anymore? Why? They need to go, because when you transition from school to work, you transition from a 9-month year to a 12-month year. Yep. And that people wonder why they're so burnt out. It's because you have been used to compressing everything down into 9 months, or if you didn't get it done, oops, it just didn't get it done. Because I know there's been many a history class where we never hit the last 10 chapters of the book. Yep. Right?
Yep. If you wanted to know, you need to read it on your own.
You have to read it on your own. And it's the same thing. But now you're going from 9 months of school to 12 months of work, and you're like, I'm not used to doing it. So what are we, what are you trying to train your children for? What are we training the future children for? Are we training them to be, 9-month students and 12-month workers? We're not training them to think, and the ones who are being trained to think are being trained to think on the right side of the spectrum and not the left side of the spectrum. So it's one of those things where I'm like, y'all are doing it all wrong, but nobody hears me.
Exactly. So I'm hoping that, with the quarantining situation and the keeping distance and stuff, that it does bring about a change.
I'm here for it. I hate that it had to happen this way, but I mostly don't apply for jobs unless they have some kind of remote capability. So when I go apply for jobs, I'm looking for telework approved, and even if it's just 1 or 2 days, it's 1 or 2 days that saves me the mental stress of having to get myself together, to get out of the house, to be somewhere on time. And, even if the place is 10 minutes away, I still got to drive that 10 minutes. And the vagaries of traffic mean it could be 15 minutes, it could be 20 minutes, it could be an hour. You know what I mean? It could be any kind of thing. And so why put myself through that stress when I could wake up an hour before or 2 hours before, work on my own stuff? Because that's what it's keeping you from doing. Yeah. All the time that you spend commuting, getting your lunch together, showering and getting dressed so that you're presentable for the rest of the world to see, that's time you could be spending on your own passion project.
Exactly. So I think you're doing it right. You're getting these books out and you're making me happy.
Crying. I really love that people love my books, and even the people who, one lady left me a 1-star review because she said my Camp Pounce was my holiday novella. She said it was poorly written filth, and
it was filthy. Thank you.
Oh, so you like the film? You got okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh my gosh.
You know, sometimes it hurts my feelings, but most of the time, everybody who reads my stuff is really positive about it. So, yay. And you know, as I write more, I get better. You know, book one was my first book, my first completed book, I should say. I have other stuff that I've written that I still hadn't finished from, 15, 20 years ago.
Sure.
But, I improve my craft because I still work on it. I still get up and I do writing exercises. I still get up and, read other writers' works about writing. So by the end, I hope to be really, really good at this and then just keep getting better. So I just hope everybody continues to follow me.
And in the vein of what you said earlier about what you would be doing if you weren't writing or anything else, I hope that you do get to LA, and I hope I get to see a screenplay of Ansel and Imani, because that would be amazing. I'm just putting that out there.
Everyone puts it out there. They're like, I would love to see it as a TV show or as a movie, because, but I'm like, I thank you, because I visualize it in my head before I write it. And so if I can't visualize it, then I don't write it.
Sure. All right. So where can the people find you in these internet streets?
Okay. In these internet streets, I am Shai August, Shai. That's part of my real name. And then last name August. And everywhere, it's supposed to be everywhere. Pinterest, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm Shai August in all those places.
Awesome. So thank you so much for talking to me today. I appreciate it.
Oh my God, how long did we talk, girl?
Hour and a half.
They're not ready for this conversation. It's been too long.
It's gonna be so great though. And it'll give people something to do other than think about their eternal demise. So that is what I'm here for.
Oh my God, please don't say that, because my best friend is the original Morbid Molly. She's like, we're all gonna die, the end times are here. And I mean, she's like this every day, and has been for 25 years.
This is her season.
Yeah, I'm surprised she's not sending me chapter and verse from the Book of Revelations every day. I am so sorry.
See, like I put in the planner chat group. I was like, I'm dressing up as a plague hoe. That's all I got. So.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, I now keep my gas tank filled up, because if I gotta make a run to get to my hometown, I'm like, it's 6 hours away. I'm like, oh, I gotta be able to make it.
Right.
Bunker down on the farm. I know there's animals.
Yep.
There's food, and I know there's guns. So I'm good.
You are straight. And with that, we are going to end this. You guys have a great day, and we will see you guys later. Bye. Hey there. Thank you for tuning in. Geeky Girls Night In is brought to you by me, Leslie. Special thanks to Quinzel. Shouts out to Kim, Emily, and Mecca, who are always willing to give a helping hand. Do you like the show? Wishing there was something you could do to support? Help us out by buying us a cup of coffee. Go to coffee.com/geekygirlsni to pledge a cup or two for the show. That's ko-fi.com/geekygirls, N as in Nancy, I. Your support helps keep the lights on in the dungeon and the podcast on the air. Special thanks to Michelle. She's our first donor. You can check out other writings or interesting tidbits on Geeky Live at geekygirlguide.com. Until next time,